Hello, students. Good morning, all of you. So, today this is the concluding module of geothermal energy sources. Okay, the last module of this chapter, and this is dealing with geothermal energy sources and its applications. Okay, mostly we will be dealing with applications only. And before going into the applications, we will see the significance of geothermal energy from the Indian perspective. What are our concerns? What is the potential of India in the domain of geothermal energy sources? Okay. Actually, our surveys and explorations started in the year 1970. Formally, the exploration of geothermal potential of India began in 1970 under the Geological Survey of India. Okay, so we have a official agency, the Geological Survey of India. So they have identified around 350 geothermal energy locations in the country, uh, mostly in the northern part of the country, mostly. No, not in the peninsular region. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, etc. No such potential sources, but most of the northern states are having such sites. And out of which the most important one is in the Puga Valley of Ladakh. You may be knowing currently Ladakh is in the limelight because of the Indo-China border issues. And Ladakh is having a lot of potential such sites which can offer geothermal energy in various forms. And India is having around a potential of geothermal potential of around 10,000 megawatts. Okay, that is not a silly value. So around 10,000 megawatt energy can be explored or tapped from the geothermal potential of our country. And specifically speaking, we have 7 geothermal provinces in India. 7 areas you can say, namely Himalayas, Sahana, West Coast, Cambay, Narmada Tapti, Godavari, and Mahanadi. Okay, that is shown here in the picture. This is the Puga Valley in Himalaya. Okay, in Ladakh we have, and another location is Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh. I think you have seen the videos of Manikaran from the video I shared with you, where there is a hot spring, very popular location. Even that is a tourist destination in Himachal Pradesh. And we have Sahana in the Rajasthan region, Rajasthan Maharashtra border. And West Coast is the again in the Maharashtra Arabian coastal belt. Cambay lying in between Gujarat and Maharashtra, and this is a bay actually. And the Narmada Tapi region, that is shown as Sonata here, and the Godavari region, Godavari Valley lying in the Andhra Pradesh, and Mahanadi in the Jharkhand. So these are some of the area which are very important from the geothermal point of view, and it is shown here more clearly. And the most important one is in the Ladakh region, Himachal Pradesh area, and in Jharkhand also we have very important where potentially one geothermal plant is shortly coming in Chhattisgarh. You see, India's first geothermal plant is to come in Chhattisgarh. Okay. Chhattisgarh government has granted permission for the installation of a geothermal power plant at Katavani area of Balrampur district to National Thermal Power Corporation. And it will be the first geothermal power plant. It is around a 600 megawatt project, a very huge one, and the working is underway now. Likely to be finished in the next couple of years. That will become one of the major prestigious geothermal power plant. So that is interesting news for us. And these are some of the destinations in our country where hot springs are there. Many of them are in the Himalaya regions. Uttarkashi, in one of them is in Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh, and many are in Jharkhand and in other Arunachal Pradesh region like that. Okay, so they are equally important for tourist destination as well as for pilgrims, and currently it is becoming very important from the energy point of view too. Okay, so some of the glimpses you will get from Google. Now come to the application part of geothermal energy. Broadly, you can classify the applications of geothermal energy into either heat production for various applications other than power production, and secondly the power generation. So heat can be used in different ways other than power production. Okay, so broadly we are classifying the heat production purpose, and that heat will be used for some many heating applications other than power generation. And in power production, we will be focusing on the turbine rotation basically. So the geothermal energy, basically you can classify into three categories from the heat point of view. From the heat point of view, very low enthalpy heat like geothermal resources, where the temperature is less than 40 degrees. Okay, which normally we find in the most of the Himalayan regions in pilgrimage places. And then we have low enthalpy, very low enthalpy, then low enthalpy geothermal resources. Our temperature ranges from 50 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius, and we have high enthalpy geothermal resources where temperature may cross 250 degrees Celsius, which we normally use for power generation. Okay, other two categories we make use for various domestic applications. For example, very low enthalpy resources, which is usually found in the subsoil or near surface aquifers at depth of a few meters to 200 to 300 meters. Okay, these kind of sources are spread all along the Himalayan regions where most of the pilgrim places are located. And such a resource can be used for heating, cooling, and producing domestic hot water in individual housing and small buildings. Okay, uh, because in winter season, people of those places find it difficult to survive with, so they use this hot water for heating their interior of the room. Okay, buildings. And when we go for low enthalpy resources, where temperature ranges from 50 degree to 80 degree, so that is usually obtained from 1000 to 2000 meters. Depth is again increasing. We can use this heat energy for heating a lot of housing complexes in a vast area, in a vast colony of houses. Requisite heat energy can be supplied from such a resources. Okay, and there are many places around the world where people are making use low enthalpy resources for using heating the housing complexes. Okay, not only for that heating housing complexes, many industrial purposes. Okay, for various conditioning, timber industry they find application, milk industry they find application. Okay, mineral water industry they find, chemical industry. Okay, so there are so many other industry they find applications. Water abstracted from the water table flows through heat exchanger and is then reinjected. The heat from the water is taken out, it can be used for various applications. Then again the water which is left behind, you can pump or you can re-inject into the very underground tunnels in order just to replenish the water supply. Otherwise, water may be exhausted. So, water is not perennially available; it may be exhausted. So, we need to re-inject water in the soil. And finally, we have the high enthalpy region where temperature may be well above 250 degrees Celsius. So, that can be used for all the purposes which we mentioned earlier. plus we find application for power generation. Okay. And various other industrial applications also carried out using this water other than power generation. We can do flash evaporation that we already discussed in detail, or we can go for a binary cycle method where we will be using two liquids. One is your hot water. The energy of the hot water will be used to boil, evaporate some other organic liquid, and that organic liquid will be used to circulate, drive your turbine. Understand? So this is the primary application, and the same high enthalpy water you can use for various industrial resources. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss now. Various industrial applications. You can use bottling of mineral water, because mineral content of the water that we collect from such geothermal sources very rich, okay, rich, abundant with the various minerals. So such water can you find application for medicinal purpose as well as drinking purpose. Okay, if you take bath in such hot springs, many of your skin diseases will be you can recover from many skin diseases. Okay, you can get rid of because the heavy sulfur content. The sulfur will enable the curing of many diseases. That is one of an application. And salt production. The salt content in such water will be very heavy. And not only the sodium chloride, many other chlorides, sulfates, heavy in heavy quantity, it is dissolved in water. So once you cool down the water, all the salt may get separated from the water. Okay, it's a very interesting idea. You can get the magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate, calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, so many other sulfates. Sulfate, chloride, you can separate. They find a lot of medicinal applications. Understand? So that is another industry, salt separation. Don't confuse with the sodium chloride. Not only sodium chloride, many other chlorides and sulfates and nitrates you can separate from such geothermal waters. So these are all very, from financial economic point of view, they have a lot of significance. And the sulfur content is too heavy, just like from a fumaroles or from a hot spring or any water source nearby to a volcano. So they will be abundant with the sulfur and sulfuric acid. By suitable chemical process, you can extract the sulfuric acid from it. And timber seasoning fine applications, because timber, you can keep timber in such a chemical water, so timber get the condition and suitable for making various furnitures. Okay, and dried milk production, milk pasteurization. These are other areas, dairy industry fine applications. And there are various advantages for geothermal energies. Its use is versatile. That means a different type of application, which we have enumerated in the previous slide. Okay, versatile, different, wide variety of applications. It is cheaper compared to other sources of energy. Of course, that is very clear because it is freely available. We are not spending any money on fuel. It is least polluting. That is very clear. It is amenable to multiple types of uses from a single source. The same water you can use for different applications. Suppose you are using initially a high enthalpy water for power generation. After power generation, the complete heat energy is not lost. So the same water you can use for various other house heating purposes, or you can separate chemical from it, or you can use it for pasteurization of milk. So they find a different multiple applications. And it is inexhaustible in the sense that it shows as a eternal nature. Heat energy you can draw out from thousands of years. For example, the Manikaran you have seen in the video given to you in your WhatsApp. Those water sources that you have seen in the video has been there for the last thousands of years. Still there. Many temples, mosques and churches are built around such hot springs. So such temples and mosques are there for those thousands of years. So that means they are exhaustive. Okay, you can trap the heat energy for the coming thousands of years. So in that sense, it is inexhaustible. Provided that you replenish the water supply with sufficient water. You need some such a refilling technique, the refilling technology. That is a must. And with all the disadvantages, it has some. With all the advantages, it has some disadvantages too. Let us list those disadvantages. The overall efficiency of power production is very low. Okay, efficiency wise, it is low. So it doesn't matter because it is freely available. So efficiency don't value much. Okay, compared to fossil fuel, its efficiency is low. Withdrawal of large amount of steam or water from a hydrothermal reservoir may lead to surface settlement because you are drawing the water from the very bottom. So bottom get vacated or blank. So what happen? The top layers may get collapsed down. Top layers may get collapsed down. Okay, that may lead to earthquake-like problem. So what we have to do? We have to refill, repack it with water. So such technology we have discussed in, for example, in California, have a geothermal plant. What they do, the wastewater after purification from the nearby cities, they are making use to refill such water pockets. Aquifers are filled with such a recycled water. So surface settlement can be avoided or minimized in such places. Steam or hot water rushing out of such places may contain hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, radon gas. These are all poisonous gases, harmful gases. Okay, if these gases are vented into the air pollution may happen. So that precaution must be taken that water is not directly coming exposed or coming contact with the atmospheric air. It has to be circulated through suitable safety pipes. Okay, that is the importance of binary system where water is not exposed to outside. So air pollution has to be taken care of. Drilling operation is noisy, no doubt. We need heavy gigantic machines for drilling tunnels, so that's a big problem. Large land area is required for the exploration of geothermal energy. So that is also there. So considering all these factors, still we have a lot of merits for geothermal energy, no doubt. But still, these are some of the demerits which must be taken care of, or which must be minimized whenever we go for exploration of geothermal energy sources. Okay. So these are the remarks, and now you have a small assignment. What are the industrial applications of geothermal water resources? This is the question. I have given some of the hints here. Still, what you have to do is you make a detailed survey through various internet sites. Okay, there are a lot of internet sites. You find other interesting applications of geothermal water sources. Okay, and make a simple A4 sheet report. Don't simply copy from the details points given in the module. Instead of that, you make a search, a Google search, find out other applications of industry applications of geothermal water, and make a brief report. Okay. So with these remarks, let us conclude today's session. And I want to remind you that we are now concluding the this chapter. Okay. Geothermal source of energy. We are here with the concluding. And next class we will come up with a new module on a new chapter. Okay. Till then,